Hi, I'm martial art master Daniel Pesina. You know me as Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, Smoke, and you are listening to Still Toking with on the Darkening Broadcast Network. Finish him. Get over here.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
But thank you all for joining us. Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Do you have a hankering for horror knowledge?
We have such sights to show you.
Do you require raging retro reviews? Do you desire discussions with devastatingly dashing dorks? The Dorkening Podcast Network has nearly 30 shows to satisfy all of your nerdy, geeky, and dorky needs, from horror reviews and celebrity interviews.
Hi, I'm Adam Green, the director of the Hatchet films and the star of Holliston.
Hi, this is Dominic Pace, who played the bounty hunter Gecko from The Mandalorian.
Hi, I'm Mike Price. I'm a writer on The Simpsons. I co-created F is for Family.
Hi, guys. This is Dee Wallace from E.T. and Cujo.
Hi, my name is Kurando Mitsutake, director of Gun Woman and Karate Kill.
Hi, this is Samantha Newark, the voice of Jem and Jerrica from the original Jem and the Holograms cartoon series.
As well as nostalgic trips into the past, pop culture, the latest in entertainment news, and so much more, featuring a variety of shows and hosts that will simultaneously enrage, enlighten, and entertain you. Check out the Dorkening Podcast Network.
My mom says I'm cool.
Available on iTunes, Spotify, thedorkening.com, and wherever fine podcasts can be found.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You're watching Still Toking with. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard. We got a ton of people watching, so if you have questions, make sure you get them to the comments, and we'll get to them as best as we can. And as always, Benjamin, how's it going, my friend?
It's going well.
It's going well.
It's going
And
well.
yourself?
Oh, quite. I have to say, I'm very excited about tonight's guest.
I am. Oh, I am too.
Oh, yeah.
I am too. But that's why I'm being Have, because I've seen some of the things he can do.
Okay. Jeffrey, how's it going, bud?
You don't scare me.
Well, you know,
how's everybody doing?
Welcome to the show. Like 15,000 miles away.
Right?
But before you introduce tonight's guest, I just want to give you a little helping hand. I'll let you, you can finish it up. But, without tonight's guest, if I did my research correctly, he was definitely an inspiration and, definitely a huge help in redefining the video game and fighting genre as we know it. We'll definitely get into that. But Jeffrey, take it on.
Try to, anyways.
Take it on. Yeah.
Let's see if you can butcher his name.
Oh, yeah. I've been studying it in the mirror. You know how you're looking at me? No, I'm just kidding. I will use the M word because he seems to like it. So, Master Daniel Pesina. Did I say that correctly?
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, was it close?
Yeah, no, it was right on, man. You hit it right on.
Okay, cool. I was going to say pissant, but...
Oh.
And it's on.
Then we're back like in grade school where they're, when you're in grade school, they butcher your name and kind of try to poke, and it's a way of becoming friends back then.
Absolutely.
Now everybody gets offended. But back then, they used to butcher your name, and that used to be your best friend.
Amen. So welcome to the show. Looking forward to chatting with you. I was going to say beating you up, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to behave tonight.
I would. Yes, I most certainly would behave.
Well, my wife will get at me. I mean, she's a martial artist herself. So.
Oh, cool. What style?
I have no idea. Kick my ass.
As long as she's proficient at that.
You know what I mean? I mean, she did it a number of years ago, but obviously she still retains quite a bit of it, to my surprise.
You probably need it. You're the guy who needs it.
Right. Well, she's the woman you jump behind when in the city of Boston.
Yeah. Wow. She's tough. Yeah.
I'm not even going to say anything, Leo. I'm not saying it.
You're just going to let him crash and burn?
Yeah.
Ben is not saying anything.
Right?
Yeah.
No, he lets me go off the tracks right at the beginning.
Yep.
Typically.
Yeah, it's easy to follow then. You know what I mean? No matter what you say, you don't go as bad as Jeff.
Right.
That's the pace.
You'll know when it's bad, because Leo usually turns a little bit of red. He shakes his head.
Yeah, sometimes I just gotta grab the train and throw it back on the tracks.
And then he'll come right in with a serious question that really pertains to what we're talking about. He kind of brings us back.
So actually, to bring us back a little bit, just so everybody knows who we're speaking with, Master Pesina. Correct? Did I say that correct?
Yeah.
So not only are you a former foot soldier, but you're also extremely people know you from Mortal Kombat. What was your role in Mortal Kombat?
My role in Mortal Kombat.
That you played, because from what I read, you were there from the beginning. It was.
We got to John Tobias. The actual who came up with the whole idea was a friend of I hung out with him sometimes, but he was really a good friend of my brother Carlos Pesina, who's Raiden, and they would sit at my parents' kids' table or at other houses and draw. So they were like artists, like back in the day where you had to draw with a pencil and not a stick on a computer. Like you would actually do that, and it would always fascinate me to see those guys. But even back then I started martial arts when I was early. So eventually, he called me up and said, "Hey, can you help me pitch and create a video game? I want to do a live action where we're like it looks like a kung fu movie video game. I work for Midway," and he went to this, and he's like, "We can't pay you a lot. Whatever ideas you have, because nobody knows what we're doing. This is going to be the first time this type of game comes out." where they're actually using experienced fighters as opposed to, there was Pit Fighter back in the day, but all those guys really didn't know how to fight, even though they were big guys. When you're a big guy, you don't need to know how to fight because you're intimidating.
You just intimidate.
Yeah, when you're a small guy, you need to really learn. So anyway, so we got together and came up with a bunch of ideas and presented a package to Midway Games.
That's awesome. Because I know back in the day, that was one of the games that Jeff and I would literally beat the crap out of each other playing. And then depending on who won would depend on who got hit with the controller.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it was much easier when they were still attached with the wires, because then you could like sling it.
Well,
yeah, back in those days, it was you had to play next to each other, not online next to each other.
Right.
And you couldn't really, you had to watch out if you really offended somebody because they can just whack you with the controller.
Right.
Everybody had like a little bit more respect back then.
Just a little.
Yeah, it's not like an old guy. And I am an old guy, but we're always talking about like in the old days, but perfect example.
Yeah, I when I saw your age today, I was like, no, there's no way. Because like I said, I do follow your pages, so I do see a lot of the martial arts and the and the things that you release, and I'm like, wow, I'm amazed.
Well, yeah, my mom says that I look young because I never had any kids.
That's what it is. See?
So what the hell happened to me? I didn't have any kids.
You had to deal with me.
I had to deal with you. Okay.
Yeah, you had to deal with me. You had 36 years of knowing me. I turned you gray. So.
Yeah, I was worse than having a kid.
So is Ben your kid?
Pretty much. Hey. I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that.
We're going there. Right away, we're going there, man.
Yeah.
So what was the process like? Because, today when, you get people that, do motion capture for the video games, they have like the ping pong balls all over them, but they didn't really have it back then. So what was the process of capturing, your martial arts for the video games?
There was not even Photoshop back then. It did not exist, so. And two, it came out different than we wanted it. We wanted to have like more frames in it to make it look more like a movie rather than a video game. Mm-hmm. Kind of like what you see now when people have the cut stories. We wanted the whole game to be like that, like have action like that. But the first day of filming, John put me in front of a camera and he's like, "Do something cool." And so that's how it all really started. I just started doing movements, and then he was like, "Okay, we're gonna organize it. High, medium, low," and then he's like, "Okay, so just do stuff to the face." So I would start doing different techniques, and then we'd look at it. I was doing like one technique like 30 times, and then he was like, "Change it somehow." So it became so intricate that we would start a fist like this, and then turn it a little bit to see how it would look on the video screen. And then turn it a little bit more and do 30 like that, and a little bit more, and have this hand here, and then have maybe this hand here, and then have this hand like this. So we were kind of different, doing traditional punching, just regular, and then being like, okay, what if you held your hand like this and tried it like that? So it was like a lot of experiment. We experimented about 5 or 6 days, 8 to 10 hours a day, just filming stuff, even before we started the project, to kind of learn the pathway to the game. And because it was so low budget, all those hours, 70, 80 hours, were erased because we taped over it to save money on tapes.
Right. Wow.
Now changing it up like that, I'm curious, did that help to enhance your natural skills because you were changing it up from what you were used to?
You know what? It gave me a good... It really let me through because again, when we all agreed to do number one, we were allowed to do anything we want. So it really let me, I started collecting comic books when I was like 5 or 6. My older brother read comic books and he handed it down to me. You know what I mean? He was like, "Okay, I'm done reading this. You read it." But I actually kept them. So I was already like a geek by the time I came into the game, a big geek playing video games and stuff like that. So I was just like, oh, it's really cool to kind of try to make something different, something that wasn't out there. I played Street Fighter, and I love Street Fighter, but I was like, oh, nobody would ever kick like that because you break your leg, or nobody would really punch like that because you don't have, it's just not good technique. So I was just kind of using good technique as a guideline to all the different style of punches, kind of doing that. So it really, in the end, helped me kind of explore like my martial arts and movements I knew.
That was a good question, Jeff. I'm actually half impressed with you tonight.
Really?
Yeah, just half.
Oh, okay.
Just
I'll
half.
get there.
Now,
these days.
Gotta earn my keep, I guess.
I read that you insisted that each move, like they would give you some ideas for moves, but you wanted to make sure that each move was focused on that actually had a background of an actual martial arts move.
Only a couple times where, in the early days, the actual people who worked for the company really didn't make any suggestions. We were just they were just like, you're the martial art guy, Danny, you just do all the martial arts. I'm the lead, and I'll pick everything out. And when it's time, we're going to invite the programmer in to come take a look at what we have created. So that way he can throw his 2 cents in to make sure that it works for like a video game. You know what I mean? Because there's like hitboxes. So if you do a technique where you duck under, but your head goes too far forward, you'll have a reaction from the other guy, which you don't want it to. So everybody was kind of like doing their part. Nobody was really like, oh, do this move. No, not until we were already way into the game did people come up with suggestions. Too, because it was like such a low budget game that they just let us be. Because, the camera was John Tobias's dad's camera. So it was a high-end camera, but it wasn't like a studio quality camera. So, we were just left in a freaking dungeon.
Oh, nice.
So I think that's really why it came out so well, because you didn't have a guy who didn't know anything about martial arts telling you what to do. And then I didn't be like, I would be like, hey, how do we program this? And he'd be like, oh, we can do it this way, that way, this way. And we got to adjust this way or that way. You know what I mean? So everybody was it was a big collaboration.
It was a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. Because there was no money involved. Nobody was like greedy or anything like that.
Right.
We were just going to, for me and my brother, Carlos and Rich, the guy who played Kano, we just wanted to come out with a kick-ass game. And John was just like, I want to create a fighting game. So that, you know what I mean? And Ed was there, to program, because that's who the company sent in. They were like, okay, you're going to do this game with this guy. So it was kind of like, and he was just like, okay, let me let you guys do. He was like, I'm just going to let you guys do whatever you want to do because, there's not going to be that many games. I can just help you guys along and create this game.
That's actually really cool. And you had a lot of fun along the way.
Man, we had so much fun.
And that's what it was all about. That's why it came out so good.
Yeah, so most of the fatalities were because of jokes.
Well, that's usually how something good comes about. It's usually a joke or by accident.
Yeah.
And then, some of the fatalities in that game were pretty cool. They were pretty cool.
Yeah, we were, just because we were all martial artists, we used to compete against each other for the most part. We would always be trying to one-up each other. Like, it wasn't like, okay, we're going to film me. And then when I'm done, I'm done. No, we filmed me, we started filming Rich, and then we come back and film, oh, we forgot this because he's doing this. We got to come back and do this. And hey, we already did that, create something else. Because I wanted to make sure that nobody looked the same. So when I was there, I was like, they threw a sidekick. I was like, I already used that sidekick. You got to use it a different way. So they would be like, okay, I'm going to shape my foot different or try to throw a kick different. And 2, I was already like, oh, you can't use that kick because that kick looks like this kick because it's 2D. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? So really that kick's going to look exactly the same. So don't do, so try to think of something else.
Very cool.
Wild. So I know, Leo, you did a little searching.
Yeah.
Did you find anything cool?
Well, before we get into that, I wanted to know.
Leo is totally geeking out tonight.
Right?
I am.
And I love it. I love it.
So you said you collected comics. What were some of your favorite books?
Well, until I could buy my own, because like I'm 6 years old, it used to be everything. My brother, what happened was my oldest brother, Ruben, suffered from rheumatoid arthritis at a really early age when he was in high school. So he was in a hospital, but all his friends would bring him like books and magazines to read. And so he would get Archie, the Hulk, Fantastic Five, you know what I mean? So the variety was really, really big. But naturally, when I became older, not old enough to really do anything, when I started doing martial arts, I started collecting Iron Fist, Master of Kung Fu, Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. So yeah, so those were my favorite ones.
Nice. So what did you think of the new movie?
I actually liked it. I thought it was well done. Most of the times, for me, I kind of separate myself from. I'm like, okay, I've learned to watch the movie for its value as opposed to start critiquing the martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
So martial art wise, they had one or two people who were pretty good, but everybody else were awesome actors and pulled it off. So I really liked it.
Yeah, same here. I thought it was amazing.
I haven't had the chance to watch it yet.
Oh, so good.
I've been so busy, man. I've got a list of movies to watch and screeners.
But you're getting backed up because there's more Marvel stuff. Like we got Hawkeye going on right now. That's
right.
Hawkeye is really good too.
I'll be okay. I'll binge watch it when we have a snowstorm because I know that'll come soon enough.
Yeah, you know it's coming, brother.
Right.
I have more movie questions, but before that, Aiden is asking, can anyone do their own training without an instructor?
I would say that most people think they can, but you can. Somebody who has training can tell that you don't have training. I see a lot on like TikTok or Instagram or just other people who, I learned my own stunts. Well, that's awesome because I can tell that you learned your own stunts.
That would be me.
Right.
That would be me.
There are certain things that you can tell right away of how long they've been training. But it's just like a golfer. A professional golfer knows if you're a professional golfer or not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And to a guitar player too. A professional guitar player knows how long you've been practicing guitar. So it's just the same way. So a lot of people do that, and it's awesome. But if you're gonna really dive into it, just get some professional help. So that way you don't injure yourself. Because in the end, some of the games that Midway made, the guys who made it never had any training, and now they can't move. You can't, I can't sit down because my back locks up. Oh, my neck is really stiff. Oh, I can't do this. Yeah, well. You did it for the video game, but you didn't have any training, and so you hurt yourself.
Right.
Growing up, what were some of your favorite martial arts movies? And did you have any particular martial artists that that inspired you?
Yeah, well, a lot besides Bruce Lee, we have like the 5 Deadly Venoms really, inspired Mortal Kombat, 36 Chambers. Gordon Liu, all his movies really inspired us. We used to run and watch them even before we worked on Mortal Kombat together. Like I remember watching the old Ralph Bakshi. Is that how you pronounce his name? Bakshi? The Lord of the Rings. The really old one, the one that is rotoscoping. I recall.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Yeah. I recall going to the movies with John Tobias to see that back in the and he was in like high school, maybe a sophomore in high school or something like that. So there's a lot of besides that, there's a lot of there's a lot of cool movies.
I'm having fun watching Leo totally geek out tonight.
Sorry.
No, that's one. Well, that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get Master Daniel on the show, is because I figured that you would just enjoy it so much more.
Totally.
Keep going. I'm enjoying this.
Well, you guys should have some questions as well.
I'm interested on what your take is on guys like Jean-Claude and Chuck Norris and because those are the big movies that I used to watch back in the 80s, the early 80s and stuff. Now I don't know anything about martial arts and stuff. I mean, is that real shit, or is that like what you were saying? You can always tell when somebody's not professionally trained?
First of all, I paid for their movies. So I am a fan of them.
Okay.
Chuck
Glad
Norris,
I brought it up.
Yeah, Chuck Norris, in my opinion, he's always awesome. Van Damme I liked because he was showman, but I could tell that he really didn't do like too much martial arts. I know he was a dancer, but I could tell that because he's pretty slow. When he does his movements, you could tell somebody has fast twitch from the repeated, from repeating a technique. So when you throw a kick, even though you throw it slow, you can tell if a guy ever really threw it, like in a competition or against somebody, in a fighting. And Jean-Claude I never saw that in him. But I paid for his movies, and I'll still pay for his movies.
Mm-hmm.
So he's all right in my book. But again, it's that separation of entertainment. We can't always be critical because, otherwise we kind of like fuck things up, man.
Right.
I really hate it when people are like, oh, Star Wars didn't surprise me. Well, you spent 10 hours a day researching Star Wars and and paying people to get like the spoilers, and then you're going to complain that you weren't surprised.
Right.
Or they didn't change the story. It's Star Wars. You can't change the Star Wars. You got to love Star Wars. You got to love Star Trek. You got to love Spawn. You can't be like, oh man, it wasn't what it didn't live up to my expectations. Well, if you didn't spend 12 hours a day on the computer, trying to figure all the surprises out, maybe you would have been surprised.
Good point.
Right.
Very good point.
Boils down to enjoy it for what it is meant to be.
That was meant for you, Leo.
Yeah.
I try to, there's certain things that like I look for spoilers in, but there's a lot that I try not to, like Ghostbusters. I didn't want to be spoiled for that at all. And so,
okay.
Yeah. For the Shang-Chi movie, I made sure that I did not watch any trailers whatsoever. If there was a trailer, I will scroll through it. Oh, no. And I did that for a couple movies, just trying to. That way, I can just enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just let me submerge myself, enjoy it. And, after I see it, then you can give me your opinion. And I could agree or disagree, or just let me, because I just want to geek out, man.
The main actor there, it's I forgot his name. Is it Simu Liu? Who played Shang-Chi? If you follow him on Twitter, he did a hilarious cut of his fighting scene. When he's in the cage there. So it's him doing some moves. Then it goes into where he got kicked in the balls. Then it goes to a couple moves, and he recut it where he got kicked in the balls like 10 times. It's hilarious.
See, there's something about being able to make fun of your own work, because you're not taking, because that's the whole thing. You can't take it too seriously. Otherwise, some idiot can offend you really easy. And then you're all worked up for nothing. Because
Right.
you finally meet him, you're like, meet him or her that made fun of you. You're like, really? That's who you are? You're going to even feel worse because you're like, oh my God. It was all that time being pent up for nothing. Man.
Leo, where can people find out about our amazing guest?
Well, you can learn more about Master Pesina in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Bunch of links. Definitely go follow him on TikTok. I also have Facebook, YouTube. He has a bunch of videos, a lot of awesome stuff. Did I do it right?
You did. You
Okay.
did.
You did it right.
I looked. I just happened to look, and I was like, "Wow, we're 30 minutes in." Leo never
crap.
mentioned this. Leo hadn't mentioned the show notes. I mean, and that's a good show because
He was geeking out.
Yeah.
I love it when Leo
totally.
geeks out.
Oh, yeah. Steve from Super Retro is saying, what did you think of the new Mortal Kombat movie that came out this year? That's a good question.
First, let me say hi to Steve, Super Retro. I didn't watch any of the trailers. I really was looking forward to it. I love all the actors in there, at least most of the actors that I kind of knew, the martial art guys. I think the first fight scene was really, really awesome. But for me, the rest felt rushed. And I know we were in a pandemic, and they were kind of they got stalled and they started again and got stalled. And I think that, you know, the guys, the producers and the director kind of rushed it a little bit. If they would have taken what they had that first scene and just kind of, and told the fans, if they would have came to me and said, hey, give me another 8 months because I don't want you, this is going to be really cool. I don't want to rush stuff. But when I watched it, I was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be Mortal Kombat. You know, you can't be killing off characters before the tournament starts, especially main characters. Don't do that. It's not, you know, in my big mouth opinion, you should get a director who is a fan of the work. Not that really doesn't know anything about the work. I think, you know, some of the things, when you can tell when the director is a fan of the work because they don't stray too much from, they don't try to recreate what's created. And then when they recreate it, you're like, well, wait a minute, that's not what it is. You know, they tried to reinvent it. No, don't reinvent the wheel. You know, it's a $1 billion franchise for a reason. Stick to that track. So again, so for me, I thought it started good, but I thought it was rushed.
Right. Yeah. And there you go, Steve. So, Leo.
Yeah, it is about that time. So we still have plenty of show left, but you know we got to pay the bills. So we do have some sponsors, and you know what? Here is you know now is we got Spider-Man coming out next week. You got to get to the movies. Ghostbusters is amazing. Here's Prospect Theater.
Did you know around 83% of Americans with disabilities are unemployed? We are changing that. The Prospector Theater is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to providing competitive and integrated employment for adults with disabilities through the operation of a first-run movie theater in Ridgefield, Connecticut. We greet, seat, and treat our audiences to the best, most accessible movie-going experience in the world. Hollywood blockbusters, delicious gourmet popcorn, and one-of-a-kind pink glove service. Join us for a movie and see our sparkle in action. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit www.prospectortheater.org.
Hey, and Token with the Dead episode 2 is coming out soon. Here we go.
Up nightmare.
And we got some hot sauce.
And we're back.
We are
And we're
back.
And we're back.
I thought you guys were going to show themes for Spider-Man. I was like, I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
No, we'd warn you first about that one.
Yeah.
Right.
So you guys did a horror movie.
Well, it's basically a TV. It's a TV series loosely based on the comic book series.
Okay.
It's I call it an Abbott and Costello style slapstick mashup.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. It's stupid as fuck, which makes it funny as hell.
Yeah.
I love horror, man. I am a big horror movie fan.
It's a horror comedy.
Yeah.
You know, and the basic premise, like I said, it loosely follows the comic books, which, real quick, is educating through adult humor positive effects of medical cannabis using zombieism. So no matter what, whether it's CBD or, you know, tinctures or whatever people use, we kind of put it all together in one, and it's zombieism. So it's it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So, what horror shows or movies do you like? What's your particular genre you like, or series?
I don't like the slashers because you know what? Rich, the guy who does Kano and I, one time we're sitting around, somebody was like, "Hey, do you like slasher movies?" And I look at him, and he's like, "No," because I would just chop them up and then put the pieces in cement, and then they wouldn't be back together, and there would be no movie. So and I was like, that makes perfect sense, you know, because you always kill the guy in a slasher movie, and then he gets up, and then I was like, I would do that. So I like the supernatural stuff. I really like the supernatural stuff,
Psycho thrillers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like like Insidious, when that came out, I thought that was really good. You know, the Nun, all those,
Conjuring.
Yeah, the Conjuring movies. I really like them. I like, naturally, I like all the old stuff. Romero. Now it's the Italian guy. Oh man,
you stumped him, Leo.
The other Italian guy.
The other Italian guy.
Man, Sergio. Was it Sergio? I'll think of it in a second. It just escaped me. But yeah, I really like horror stuff.
But no slashes. Usually it's the slasher movies that flash the boobs for you.
That's okay. That's the okay part.
Okay.
You can't go wrong there.
So the proper answer to that question is, well, I'm not big into slashes, just the boob scenes.
Yeah. Well, naturally. Fast forward. Oh my God. You got to know something about that movie. So there it is.
Right? See?
Yeah.
Who let you out of your cage today?
Oh, my wife's out with a girlfriend, so I'm a free man.
Oh, gee. So she's not even watching?
No, she's not home. No.
Oh, so she can't go, Jeff, I can't believe that came out of your mouth.
Wait, but more importantly, who's going to make your chicken later?
I know. Who's cooking your dinner?
I am, when we're done.
From scratch or just reheating it?
Oh, no, to reheat. Leftovers.
Okay.
Especially where I'm alone if she's not here.
Yeah. Low maintenance, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you got a couple, I looked you up. You have a couple of things in pre-production. Are they still in pre-production? Is that up to date?
Yeah. Actually, we do have a couple things in pre-production.
One's a short?
Actually, post.
Are they both shorts?
Yeah, both. Well, 40 minutes. One is 40 minutes, so one's a short. Post production, both of them. So a little bit behind because of the pandemic, but earlier this year we shot like a martial art movie up in England. So
I got to see some of the behind the scenes stuff that you posted. That was
yeah.
I live vicariously through you. I'm just saying,
Yeah, it was fun. It was really, really fun. Especially kind of, you're just goofing around.
So you don't get listed, or your credit is not as an extra. You get listed as background talent. The fuck does that mean?
Sometimes you just got to take what you get.
Well, I saw it. It was for Pickaxe, which actually is a great flick. from back in the day, and now in 2014 you were background talent.
Yeah, it happens.
You know, well, what was that all about? What was your role in Pickaxe? Because I love those flicks.
Actually, they just used stock footage for.
Really, you weren't even there.
That I wasn't even there. Yeah.
You're like a cardboard cutout or something.
Yeah. They just.
He just said stock footage.
Yeah. Sometimes you get that, you know.
That's actually cool.
Yeah. So a lot of things is kind of just depending on the size of the project. Even for Turtles, we were just kind of we were set put down as foot soldiers.
Foot soldiers, yeah.
Yeah. Even so, sometimes you're doing stunts and things, martial arts stunts, I guess. So if you're the super big bucks, you're getting whatever they.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I will say this tomorrow, because this show is broadcast live, and then as it's being broadcast, it's being recorded, so it goes on multiple platforms, including our website. But I also put them up on IMDb, so you're going to get an IMDb credit tomorrow for being yourself.
Awesome.
How's that?
Yeah, I like that.
That'll be number 5.
Right. Timing, right?
Wow, you're just cruising. You're cruising.
He's spicy tonight. He's a little spicy tonight, but it's all right because he's unleashed, right? She's not.
See, right.
You know, break out the wine or the whiskey. You're doing all right.
Yep, here he goes.
So you mentioned earlier, it's not really a good idea to self-train. For somebody that wants to get into martial arts, what are the first steps that they should take? Looking for like a trainer. Is there any red flags? That they didn't go into like a Cobra Kai or something.
Cobra. Let's just throw that right in there.
You know what? When you're picking out a school, just take a bunch of lessons and find an instructor you kind of click with. If the instructor's abusive and you don't want to be abused, don't stay there. Try to find somebody who kind of that you can kind of click and understand how you're training. Would be my biggest advice to people.
Feel comfortable with who's teaching you.
Yeah, because otherwise it's going to lead where you don't want to go. And then all of a sudden you're going to be like, you're going to get bitter about learning the martial arts. And that would maybe ruin it for you to learn from somebody else. You know what I mean?
Now, I think if you have the right instructor, you're more apt to kind of absorb it as opposed to having to learn it.
Retain it, yeah. It'll be natural.
Right.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it because it is an art. So, you have to, it's not something that you can learn in like the deep stuff. You don't learn in 3 or 4 years. For the really, really interesting stuff, you have to be with it, the martial art, for a while.
That's cool.
Very cool. And you have a belt in 3 different styles, correct?
I have
minimum that I know of.
Yeah, I have an actual belts in 3 different styles, but a lot of the styles, some of the systems that I learned, they didn't give you belts. They're really old school.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I was doing Chachwin, I was like, I mentioned belts, and he's like, you don't need a belt. He goes, if you're terrible, people can see you're terrible. So it doesn't really matter what you're doing wrong. And I was like, okay. And he was like, go back to practice. So, some of the styles, it's not really about getting a black belt. The master, why I'm saying I'm a master of martial art is because at a certain point, if you train long enough and you're with particular instructors who are formal, who've really learned the depth of it, you have this mind-body connection, meaning like you can throw techniques as efficiently as you can for yourself. So it's not like, somebody else is like, you can't punch so hard that you can punch through a building. No, it's not that. All my techniques are efficient for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And 2, when you see it, you can when you reach that level, and that I think we were touch base on that. When I see other people, automatically I can kind of see how long they've been training. You know, whether they've been training formally or whether they're teaching themselves, or even sometimes I'm like, oh, you took a bunch of different things and mixed them together.
You learned that on YouTube.
Yeah.
I learned it from watching you.
Okay, it's all part of it. So because it is learning, but so when I use that master level, it's more about not like I'm a master of. I'm kind of a master myself. Motto of my school is Daniel Pesina's martial arts, where what you master is yourself.
Okay, makes perfect sense.
Okay, there's so many things that I could have said there.
And you behaved. Now
I behaved.
And now
he knows exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. Now I'm 3/4 impressed.
Another drink.
When you said no belt, first thing that popped into my head, I don't know if it was Jackie Chan or Miyagi, that a belt's only good for holding up your pants. I forgot what movie it was from.
Yeah, because the belt system is recent. The belt system's only like 8 or 9 years old. It's not like really, an old way,
I think that belts were started as a way to give the young kids that were getting into it something to strive for.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And I think it worked. And
bye, Jeff.
Oh, and he got a phone call.
Yep. Wait,
he went to refill his glass. I hope Jeff went to refill his glass.
47 minutes and he'll pop right back in too.
Positive thoughts.
Okay, let's okay, here he
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna
say. You see that?
I'm
I'm so fast I can blink out and blink out.
What? You can blink out and blink out? What is that?
Well, speaking of blinking out.
But I like it. It's cool, but it's not. I can wrestle on my knees and chest. Because for that, I'm doing.
That's actually my student, somebody I teach. So yeah, you can see what kind of different things that we different weapons, because I know like 36 different weapons, some freaking crazy like that.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Yeah, you do. But I actually enjoy when you're doing the when you're doing the rope dart.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite things to do, and that's why I put it in the game. It's just because it was something that I really like to do because it's kind of exotic. Too, it's like the early, really early 90s, 1990. So not a lot of people knew about it.
Right. But even now, when you post some of the videos of yourself doing the rope darts and different demonstrations, it's mesmerizing.
Yeah.
To watch you.
Weapon. It is really a cool weapon. It's really surprising.
To watch you go through it, I'm just like, wow. I don't know how many times I'd have to go to the hospital if I tried that.
Oh, yeah. It hits me a lot.
Right?
Yeah, that weapon hit me a lot. All weapons probably hit you a lot. It's okay. It's part of it.
It's part of the training, right?
It is. You realize, especially that stuff, you realize that, not that everybody should do it, but you realize that you can do a lot more than you think.
Right.
Continue going, Wow.
Always improving.
Yeah.
So one of the things I read when, you guys were working on Mortal Kombat, you would often find, the four of you around a table just geeking out about stuff. You mentioned you liked horror, comics, and I think I read video games as well. So what other stuff do you geek out about? Or is there any particular game or besides Mortal Kombat, that is?
Actually, I don't like the fighting games because they never quite. In the end, I was like, even in the end of Mortal Kombat, I was like, it's really cool, but I wish we could have did it like how we thought it would turn out. Like a kung fu movie as opposed to, but the technology is really restrictive.
Yeah.
Back then. But, I like Halo, Doom, played a lot of Doom, lost a lot of nights with Halo, Doom, Call of Duty, Resident Evil. There's a lot of where I've been practicing or doing stuff where I was like, oh crap, I'm not getting any sleep tonight because now I got to go to work and it's, I got to go teach and I've been playing video games all night. So that has happened to me.
Awesome.
Right. So you like that first-person style, shoot 'em up kind of stuff like that.
Yeah,
now, did you ever get into games like Gran Turismo or anything like that?
No, not really that. I don't know why. Just like because I realized like the shooting games, you really require a skill. I kind of suck at them, but when I watch other people play them, I'm like, man, you're really good. That's a different skill that I don't have. So when I see a skill that I don't have, I usually admire it.
Okay.
I would stay up so late playing Doom online.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who didn't?
Now, were you playing like the original one?
I played the PC one, and then I played the one for Xbox, and then another one came out, and I played that. I stopped really playing games when it went totally to online because I was
right.
You know what I mean? I binge. I play. I binge, and then I can't play it for a few days because you got to teach or go to work. You got to go to work.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you cannot match that.
Oh, you're getting destroyed by like some kid in Australia that's been playing, for the past 48 hours straight,
Yeah, who developed that skill. So
Yeah.
all of a sudden, really, when it went to too much online stuff, I stopped
I
playing.
mean, Doom was a predecessor to a lot of that.
Yeah.
With the, because we connected two computers together, with a null modem cable.
Yep.
And we joined the same game, and that was long before even the internet was doing its thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you could literally two characters jump into the same game.
Yep.
Yeah, I really enjoyed those because Doom really set the pace for a lot of the games or a lot of what we see today.
Right.
I always like that. Something innovative starts it.
The I totally get what you're talking about with the online games, and it seemed like they were really going full hog towards that, and they still are for some points. But they've realized that, there's still a lot of people that enjoy the single players, and that's what I play myself. And there's a lot of games that cater to the single player games. Like if you haven't tried it, the new Doom is very, it honors the original Doom really well. Like the last two that came out, just superb games. Like it's definitely an upgraded version of like Doom 1 and 2. Cool. Very fast paced, single player, you against, tons of demons. It's
now, is that online or is that on a game machine?
You could do it on PC and game systems have it.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. So the moral to that story is I'll get an email in a couple of days from Master Pesina, and he'll say, "Thanks a lot. I've been up all night, and now I have to try to teach."
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
It's bittersweet stuff, It's right.
Far Cry is another really good series to get into as well. Yeah, have you played those?
I've played the first two.
Okay.
Back in the day, yeah.
They've gotten really good, starting with like I think 4. Since 4, they pretty much had the same recipe. 6 just came out. I'm playing through 6 right now. It's phenomenal. They plop you into this open world, and you can go anywhere and just go around killing a ton of people, just trying to. Well, they give you.
Like, yes.
I mean, like they give you goals. Like you're part of this. You're part of the good guys, and you need to fight off the bad guys that are trying to like some dictator trying to take over the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you say so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the Expendables.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, and you can go in guns blazing, or just build up a nice sniper and take people out from a couple 100 yards.
Yeah.
Already then.
So, what exactly does that have to do with our guest? I'm just
right.
Curious.
Well, we know that he likes to play shoot 'em ups.
Yeah.
No, it's great. I mean, you never know where our shows are going to go.
Yeah.
And I'm thoroughly enjoying watching Leo totally geek out tonight.
Yeah, it's great.
This has been extremely fun for me.
So, are you working on anything new? What do you got planned for your future in the next few years? And you gonna come out with stuff that's really cool for us to see?
Actually, I started the coming up year. I've been doing framework to, for me, when I watch like even Mortal Kombat or stuff like that, it really hasn't changed from what I created like 30 years ago. The fighting has still, even Jackie back that when I watch movies, it's still kind of the same as Jackie Chan did. So I want to bring like more of the old concepts of fighting back to multimedia, to games, and to movies, as opposed to the brawling we see. It's cool to see brawling, but once everybody's brawling, you're like, holy cow, it's the same. Oh, it's the same move that we saw in that movie. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out how to, through social media and giving people ideas of like how to be like, oh, I want to, if I really want to fight with a style, how do you really fight with that style? Not like just put the name, oh, I'm going to do Taekwondo and then just throw a bunch of kicks. No, it's not that, you just can't say, oh, you're going to change the style and it's still the same thing. So there's a few systems that are not really super popular, but they would look really cool in movies and things like that. So I want to bring them out to the general public, so to speak, or the people who want to be like, oh, I'm looking for a different move for a movie or a video game as opposed to the same old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to work on making a catalog of those things.
Wow, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, especially to bring little touches, to make it look, because everybody's doing a sword, but really, they're today they're using like a single-bladed sword to a double-bladed sword, and that's not really how you're supposed to do it, because usually it works out dangerously. Or you know what I mean? To educate. Oh, we don't really do that move. We have this type of sword, but I know you're in a movie and it looks really cool. But try to educate people on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. A little more realism in fighting movies.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I could see a really cool virtual reality style game.
Yeah.
Like with the Oculus and put on a chest pad and you can feel the punches.
Or vibration, that would be cool. And two, to kind of you just kind of explore that. And they don't have to use it in movies, but if they start understanding it, they could come up with something new for themselves.
Right.
Different techniques were used for different ways, not all the same. Like really quick, like a straight punch. A straight punch is like this. But if your elbow is out a little bit and you throw a punch kind of like Superman does, and he could throw the punch like that because he's Superman, but a regular person throwing that punch is not maximizing his own strength. Usually they call it bridging. Usually you're keeping it when you punch like that with your with this arc. This is usually keeping the opponent away. Like you're kind of pressing him away while you punch, as opposed to a straight punch is where you're punching like this and he's not really blocking you or holding on to you. So a lot of people don't know what the techniques are, or they have the Superman pose. Everybody's like, oh, the superhero pose. The superhero pose came from grabbing somebody's helmet and jumping up and smashing their face into the floor.
Oh, wow.
So if you look at somebody reaching up on the top of a horse or something or grabbing a guy and use your body weight to smash his face and break his neck, that is the Superman pose, superhero pose now. So you see people on the ground like this with the hand on the ground. That's an actually real technique. It's not just a pose. Back in the old days, that killed thousands of guys. Or people jump up with one leg behind them and punch like that. That's because if the guy is kicking your knee and you have to pick up your knee so it doesn't break, you're in a position to kind of punch over him like that. I don't know if you guys know that kind of like move where their leg is behind them and they skip jump at a person, no, that's cool that you just pull it out of the air. But in reality, that wouldn't really work in real life. But that technique does work because it's the counter to a knee kick. So just to kind of let people know, like, oh, guess what? All these moves that you see in movies actually are like real traditional old style moves. And this is why they came from. Not that they necessarily have to obey those rules of executing it like that. But it's cool stuff when you learn, like, oh, I didn't know that.
Wow.
Oh, I wonder what else is kind of
right. Now every time I watch a movie, I'm gonna go, I wonder if that's real.
Yeah. So anybody out there, if you have any questions, say, hey, I wonder if that technique is real. You could always shoot me a message and I can answer your question.
Nice. And you can find all that information in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Marvel's made fun of the superhero pose recently in Daredevil and Black Widow. I don't know if you saw Black Widow.
I have not seen Black Widow. I've seen Daredevil. It's on my watch list.
Yeah. Did I say Daredevil? Not Deadpool. That's what I meant. Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool.
Yeah.
Deadpool. Yeah.
And I've seen it in Deadpool because he's like, oh, superhero pose, and I'm like, that's not really. And two, for me, I just kind of like, I loved it, but I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome, but that's not really superhero pose. I bet you people don't know that. I bet you people don't know that is actually a martial art.
Is this the one when he's laying on his side like this?
No. In Black Widow, Black Widow does the superhero pose, and she does like this huge fight and then lands in that pose. And her sister in the movie goes, "Why do you do that? That's so unrealistic." It was so they definitely poke fun of it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty good. I want it's on my list. But yeah, a lot of stuff is like you don't realize, like, oh, that's an actual move.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think that's great. There needs to be more realism in I mean, like the martial arts movies, it's all been, mostly comedies recently,
Yeah. Yeah, but it's all right. So, but again, I think we're like, for me, we're stuck at that place where that creativity is kind of stifled, where we're trying too many times. They saw it in one movie, so they want to put it in another movie. No, dude, it's been done. Try to do something different.
Right. Be unique.
Yeah, don't just always money grab. I know money grabbing is pretty good, but sometimes you got to be creative.
Speaking of moves in movies and what's real or not, Jackie Chan's Drunken Master, or is it the Drunken Monkey or something like that?
I think it's the Drunken Master.
The Drunken Monkey.
Drunken Master is the movie, but I thought it had a different name, like the actual. But is that like a real like set of moves, or was that just like totally fictional for the movie?
Actually, there is. It's not. It's found. It's like an idea found in many different styles, drunken style, because it's kind of illusional. But two, the technique isn't quite what people would think it is. It's more like striking while wrestling, if you can imagine, because you're usually like, oh, I'm wrestling, but these guys figure out how to punch and kick while wrestling. And then they came, drunken style allows that, because two, the movement is like, because you're wrestling with the guy. So as opposed to just going, I'm wrestling, they kind of use, you know what I mean? They're like, I'm wrestling, so when you remove this hand, I might do the elbow, you know what I mean? And then when you punch to the rib, I kind of remove, and it kind of like, so when you do this move, and you look like you're drunk, but really, when you apply it, you're like, that makes perfect sense.
That's a whole new viewpoint to that movie.
Yeah, it
really is.
Yeah,
right.
Those guys in the old day had too much free time. A lot of them, they just did martial arts all day long. And two, that was the basis for the military. It wasn't trying to create the best tank or anything like that. They were just trying to create the best soldiers.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
Just insane. Yeah, I know.
I'm blown away. I'll have Ann watch this. She'll get a kick out of it.
Leo.
Yes.
You got another show tonight?
I do.
Okay. So
What's your topic tonight?
Well, we're definitely going to talk about Hawkeye. There's also some very sad news this week. I don't know if you heard about the comic writer and artist Perez.
Yep. Passed away. Yep.
No, he didn't pass away, but he has.
I thought he passed away.
No, he.
I saw a post.
Yeah, he did a press release. He has, is it pancreatic cancer, like stage 3?
Yeah.
And he's decided not to fight it. He's just going to let nature take his course.
Yeah, it must have been somebody else that I saw that just recently passed from the comic book world too. In the last week, I can't remember who it was.
Unfortunately, it happens every year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We're getting old.
Yeah.
It's what happens.
Speak for yourself.
But if you get a chance, though, definitely read his press release. It's it'll break your heart, But he's talking about, he wants to do he wants to do one more signing. Like he only has one working eye. He wants to do one more signing, before he goes. And he's sad that he needs to refund some paid commissions that he has because he's not going to be able to finish them.
Wow.
So yeah, but it's definitely an artist for the fans, and he's definitely responsible for some major characters. He worked on Crisis: Infinite Earths. There was an awesome crossover, Justice League versus Avengers. He did an awesome picture of Superman holding Captain America's shield and holding Mjolnir. Just great artist, great writer.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, you had to bring us all down at the end. Didn't you?
Well, you asked.
Save that for your damn show. What the hell?
I'm gonna have a freaking drink. I'm going to get off here. I'm gonna freaking have a couple drinks.
Excellent.
Okay, we will wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for watching us this fine evening. And as always, just, Google me. You'll find a bunch of stuff. But I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got a ton of shows on the network, a lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff, like the Still Toking guys. It's so Master Pesina, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
Yeah, mainly on Facebook, Master Pesina, and Instagram, Master D Pesina. Any questions or anything like that, or if you just want to say hi, you're welcome to message me there.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was really fun.
Totally agree. Jeffrey.
Thank you, Master Pesina. I had a ball. I actually learned a lot, too. Although that's easy for a guy like me.
I was going to say, I learned a lot, too. I learned that you actually can behave.
Yeah, I can. I was good today. You know what I mean? It was that master, that word, you can just, damn, I was so good. So anyway, go to stilltoken.com. All our information is there. There's links to all our social media there. Everything you need to know about us is there, except my personal shit. That's not there. You're not going to find that anywhere. That's here. So anyway, Daniel, thank you. Master Pesina. I'll call you Daniel. I like Daniel. That's a great name. That's a man's name. Thanks. I love that. I had a ball. This was a lot of fun. I've got some shit I've got to look up that I'm behind on. I want to look up, you go to your YouTube and your Facebook and stuff like that and see some of these videos.
I'm telling you, man.
Because I haven't seen any of the videos.
Yeah, they're...
Now, I'm curious about this dart on a string thing, because that might, I don't know, that could be a cool sex toy.
Yeah, I know. And if somebody... and if somebody actually sent me the link before the show, we could have seen it during the show. Just saying.
Well,
now everybody's going to have to follow
I can only
the
do
links
so
up
much.
above or down below so that they can go see it themselves.
Right. I can only do so much. I mean, I'm only one person.
What little you do will have to be sufficient.
That's right. Listen, I got the guest. I got them booked. They showed up. What else do you want?
Right?
I mean, but no, seriously, like Jeff said, stilltoking.com, you know, everything you want to know about us is there. Master Daniel, if you would mind, when Leo closes the show, just hold on for 1 minute till we go backstage, if you don't mind. But to all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do every day so people like us can do what we do every day. We're out of here. We'll see you next week. Stay safe.